Merry Brewmas, everyone! 'Tis the season for Christmas-themed Entitled People and Just No Mail Reddit stories. Because we all know that Christmas brings out the worst in narcissists, but it's also the season of the Brewmas merch giveaway. Subscribe, like this video, and leave a Christmas tree emoji in the comments below to be entered to win some merch from the Reddit Brew merch store. I donate all my merch profit to my local food bank, which is especially important this time of year. Today for you guys, I have 3 oh so satisfying petty revenge stories. I sent her a glitter Christmas card, and she called the cops on me. Moved into a nice little neighborhood with my husband and soon-to-be newborn. One night, my husband was walking our corgi puppy, and the neighbor across from us came outside. Corgi puppy runs over to her, and the woman shrieks and runs inside. Husband comes out later without puppy, and she cusses him out, screams at him, and he tries to apologize, but she keeps screaming. A few days later, a humane officer comes to my door, wakes my newborn up, and tells me he'll give me a fine for allowing my dog to charge our neighbor if it happens again. I guess he was under the impression this happened more than one time. He said my neighbor was terrified for her safety. I told him I have a 7-pound corgi puppy, literally the least terrifying animal on earth. She also yells at our other neighbor who mows the vacant lot beside her anytime he gets too close to her grass, which gets pretty tall. They've gotten into screaming matches, and she's even called the cops on him multiple times, never ending in her favor. I found an online website that anonymously sends people glitter bomb Christmas cards, so when you open it, it shoots glitter everywhere. Like a month goes by, and I was wondering if the website just took my money, or if she just wasn't going to say anything about it. I shit you not, a cop comes to my door, asks to come inside, and then busts out laughing, explaining that he's here over a glitter Christmas card. He tells me I made his day, and that was the funniest call he's ever ran. Totally legal and great petty revenge. Edit. She also kidnapped my cat, but that's a story for a different day. We're cool now, surprisingly. She even gifted me some edibles. I was a bit suspicious they were poisoned or something as revenge for the card. They were fantastic, and we talk on a regular basis now. Turns out, she just is a bit socially anxious, so that's why she's gotten into it with a lot of the neighbors, but she's actually a really nice person under the Karen exterior. Edit again. Dude, my husband let the dog off the leash one time for whatever reasoning he had. I always use a leash. As Shaggy would say, it wasn't me. To be fair, I know how vicious corgis are. Viciously adorable, the little wiggle butts are so dangerous. Absolutely could cause someone to pass away from cuteness overload. Steal from grandma? You're losing out on that money one way or another. As Christmas time rolls around, I still feel petty towards my nephew. My mom lived with me for a few years while getting back on her feet. She doesn't have much money, but she would always help out her kids if they needed it, even if she really shouldn't. One of my nephews, approximately 10 years old at the time, asked to borrow my Nintendo Switch so he could play Fortnite. I said yes because I never played it. After a bit, he asked my mom, his grandma, for $10 for the battle pass. She said yes and stupidly put her credit card in his account for it. Some point in the future, another $10 or so was charged to it on accident, according to the nephew. Oh well, not a big deal. She let it go. Maybe it's the lack of experience, but I find the whole account thing between Nintendo Switch, Epic Games, and Fortnite to be confusing. I tried over and over to delete her card info out of the accounts, but he would always get it back somehow. I don't think he could have written her info down. My brother had to drive 45 minutes to get the Switch to me to delete the info. Over the next year or two, he charged something like $300 to the credit card outside of the times she gave him permission. Somehow it was always a mistake, and he would immediately text and apologize, and it got to where he asked us not to tell his parents. My mom wouldn't do anything about it other than tell him to stop. I tried to stay out of it because it was between them. So I got fed up after a certain point. texted my brother to bring me my Switch back, and I was keeping it. Told him all about the charges. My brother has always used my mom for money, including stealing from her, so he acted concerned, but really, he couldn't/wouldn't pay her back. He brought it back to me, nephew kept asking to have it back, and was apologizing, but the answer was no. That wasn't enough for me. Mom wasn't going to force them to pay back the money, but I couldn't keep myself out of it any longer. I decided the nephew wouldn't be getting the $25 to $50 gifts he normally gets for Christmas and birthdays. He could pay back his debt over the next 3 to 6 years, and I'd make sure she got it since we have some linked bank accounts. It's been 2 years now without any gifts for me. He may not even notice, but I do, and I feel good about it. She still buys him gifts, of course, but she's being repaid one way or another. OP should send a card to his nephew where all it says is, $25 has been paid in your honor to the Grandmother Fortnite Fund, and make like a pretend tax receipt or something. Damn kids and their video games. Neighbors kept bitching about my Christmas decorations, so I kept adding to them. I own a big house. I'm talking old Victorian type that I restored. An older couple moved in across the street this summer and started bitching about everything I did. They didn't like the siding I was having put on. My front door color was ugly. They hated all the different colored flowers I planted. They just didn't like the idea of a young, single woman living in a house I clearly couldn't afford. They actually told me that. I tried to ignore them until Christmas. I put up lights and a few blow-ups, but nothing the other neighbors don't do. This couple started bitching right off. Christmas offended them. I just smiled and added more. At this moment, my house can be seen on Mars. To add to the petty, I told the neighbor next to me, and he told another and then another. You get the picture. Now the whole street can be seen from Mars. Man, the amount of time some people spend looking out their front window to spy on their neighbors is astounding. I live in a cul-de-sac, and I dislike all of my neighbors. This past summer, my one neighbor came onto my property to pull out one single weed because, and I quote, "My husband likes the front to look good." You know what we did? Neither my husband nor I mowed the grass for the rest of the summer. Yes, I am actually petty in real life. I don't just play one on TV. We have another neighbor who I swear every time I look outside, he's in his garage staring at our house. One of my friends said it's like we're living the real life Watcher. You know, that series where the crazy neighbor watches that one house and tortures every family who moves in? Well, it's been 6 months and I haven't been murdered yet, so I think we're good. I'm just a delusional people magnet, I guess. Lucky me. But anyway, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed these 3 Christmas-themed petty revenge stories. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Brewmas Reddit story. Bye!